I recently watched WonderWy's video series called Winners and Losers, again, and got a simple but brilliant idea. What if the same concept was applied to teams at the FIFA World Cup? This video will look at different categories of country rankings at the World Cup, and which countries are at the top and bottom of those lists. Let's start with the perhaps most obvious category. What World Cup team is the all-time greatest? There are a few ways to measure this, by titles, total medals, position on the overall table, and number of appearances, for example. I would also like to introduce a complementary ranking system to go along with everything else. Points obtained per match, or PPM for short. Or in other words, divide a team's total points by their total matches played at the World Cup. For example, Brazil's PPM would be 237 divided by 109 equals 2.17. The overall table is biased in favor of teams with more World Cup appearances, and the PPM system is generally more biased in favor of teams with fewer appearances. So I think using both of these units of measurements provides a fair view, even though the ideal is somewhere in the middle. The teams that have the most titles and appearances are in the same order: Italy, Germany, and Brazil. The order also remains the same when counting points obtained per match, or just looking at the overall table. In terms of total World Cup matches played, Italy are third and Germany overtakes Brazil, using the Mannschafts' fewer appearances as a tiebreaker. When counting total medals, Germany also overtakes Brazil. But what about the best performing World Cup teams with just one appearance? That list is as follows: Slovakia in 2010, Wales in 1958, and Ukraine in 2006. However, this list doesn't tell the whole story. For one, Ukraine's group was definitely on the easy side, and Wales are treated unfairly since they played at a 16-team World Cup, unlike Ukraine and Slovakia, who played at World Cups with 32 teams. Advancing from a group at a 16-team cup is more impressive since the competition is tougher. So despite what these rankings say, I gotta say I think Wales is the true number one. The list also remains the same when using PPM. Europe and South America dominate the World Cup, so it might be interesting to see which countries are the best from outside those regions. Those lists are as follows, with South Korea, the United States, and Mexico occupying the top 3 on the overall table. Honorable mentions I have to bring up are Nigeria and Japan, who have 21 and 20 points respectively, despite making their World Cup debuts as recently as 1994 and 1998. According to PPM, the podium is vastly different, containing Costa Rica, Ghana, and Senegal. On the other side of the spectrum, the worst performing World Cup teams are Haiti, DR Congo, and El Salvador. Since neither of them has obtained any points at the World Cup, using PPM is not relevant, because anything divided by 0 is, well, 0. When only counting teams with more than one appearance, Egypt and Bolivia take Haiti's and DR Congo's place. Winning the World Cup is the greatest thing that can happen to a footballer. But only 8 teams have won it thus far, and I think there are other strong teams that are yet to win it that are nonetheless worth highlighting. So, what teams have made the most World Cup final appearances without ever winning the title? And what teams that have never won the World Cup have the most medals? Those rankings look like this, with the Czech Republic, Hungary, and the Netherlands, who've lost a depressing 3 finals without ever winning one. But they're not the team that has lost the most finals, period. That honor actually belongs to Germany, who have lost 4 finals, but they're probably still happier since they also have 4 titles. And Argentina, who has also lost 3 finals, just like the Dutch. When it comes to total medals won by teams with 0 titles, the Netherlands remain in first, with Hungary falling to third behind Sweden. Now for something more straightforward, goals scored. Brazil and Germany remain first and second, but a new team takes third, Argentina. The top 3 remains unchanged when counting goals scored per match as well. On average, World Cup hosts perform significantly better than other participating teams, so I thought it would be fun to look at the contrary. What are the 3 worst performing World Cup hosts of all time? Those are Japan, who co-hosted the competition with a South Korean side that controversially reached the semi-finals in 2002, the United States in 1994, and South Africa in 2010. Let's see if a new team tops this list after the World Cup next year. As a homage to Wonder Why, I even found a category Scotland wins. Worst performing World Cup teams with 8 appearances. Maybe not a category you want to win, but a category nonetheless. That's it for now. Surely there are more categories I could have included, but I had to call it a day somewhere. I might release more parts in the future, both for the World Cup and other competitions, and maybe call the series Football's Winners and Losers or something. I don't know, we'll see. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Once again, thanks to Wonder Why for the inspiration.